What would you say to those who say it's what we have now is a product of what the founding fathers of the nation, the men that fought for our independence, is a product of what they left behind?
I wouldn't argue with them. I mean, there is some merit to that. But they lived and acted within the context of their environment. And we, as their children or grandchildren, should be standing on their achievements and moving things forward. It doesn't make sense for us to be still in the same place that our fathers were. That is not progress. And our founding fathers faced, I feel that they even had less to work with. These are people that, they were the ones that the British brought from different places and just put together. So if they are fighting and they're finding it really hard to get along, it's because it's true. But here we've had 50, 60 years of integration. We went to the same schools. We did NYSC. We have a lot more in common. So we really shouldn't be behaving like they were behaving. I understand how they behaved. I don't understand how we are behaving today. Acting as if I don't know who you are. If I tell you my life story, you will recognize yourself. It's not different from your life story. You know, I went to a federal government college. I'm from Abia State, but I was born in Lagos. I grew up in Lagos. I had so many people's story. I did my NYSC. I stayed 3 years looking for a job. I got a job. There's no light in my house. I dug a borehole. These are our stories. So how is it that we're not able to weave a national narrative out of these stories?
But can we weave that national narrative? I mean, in the face of the seeming clampdown, can that national narrative be weaved outside of the political class?
Yes, it can. We are not dependent on the political class. In fact, I think that politicians are, by nature of their profession, they tend to sort of follow the trend rather than set the trend. So I don't really see politicians as change agents because they need to win elections. And so they tend to do whatever is popular with their people. And so oftentimes when you want radical change, it has to come outside of politics. It has to come from society itself. So we that are not politicians, we that are artists and musicians and analysts on TV and, in your workplaces, I think that's where the demand, when we start demanding more from our political system, then the politicians will begin to react. But if a politician goes home to his village and there's no real demand for change or meritocracy, he's not the one that'll start saying it because he just wants to win elections and come back.
What if the people, if what he's doing, because they'll tell you they're only speaking based on what their people tell them.
Yeah.
What if this is what their people are asking of them? What if the individuals, the artists, the analysts on TV haven't even pictured that national identity enough to demand it of the leadership?
That's where the work is. That's why I tell people don't be in a hurry to jump into politics. I think the work is more subliminal in popular culture. I think there's a lot of, I like to use the word evangelism. There's a lot of orientation and reorientation that has to take place in little small spaces. Do not underestimate the impact of a conversation, even in your office. The impact of just talking to, somebody makes a tribalistic comment. So my daughter will never marry an Igbo person. Don't, challenge it. Ask why. Let's begin these conversations in these little circles. They will spiral eventually into something. But if the reformist politician does not have a social movement, a progressive social movement to draw inspiration and strength from, there's not much he can do. It's like sending him into political office with no bullets in his ammunition. So he has to have a critical mass of people in society who demand from him meritocracy, demand from him results, demand these things. And how do you get that demand going? There's no magic bullet. We just have to keep talking. We have to keep writing about it, talking about it, singing about it, making noise about it, being radical about it. So as people are shouting, they want Igbo, they want Yoruba, they want to divide the country, we are shouting, there is strength in integration, there is strength in, you can't deny this thing. It's not easy to be the largest black nation on the face of the, why should we just give up that position just like that? Just because we can't get along together. You know what it is? That if Nigeria rises, Africa rises. That if Nigeria rises, the black man has pride in this world. There's a bigger picture. There is a reason to give this thing a good shot. And we haven't really done that in this generation. We're just resurrecting old historical arguments and battles. We've not really tried, to harness the effect of 50, 60 years of living together. There's a lot of commonality in there that hasn't really been harnessed socio-politically or culturally. Many stories that haven't come out. So it's not that I don't see how bad things are, but I believe that we haven't really tried, and there is real strength in unity.
Okay, so let's come down and look at this unity. Let's look at the strengths that can be pulled up and what can be done with this strengths. Let's look at the art, for instance.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a poet. Mm-hmm. You did a poem that got the whole hall and everybody there wanting for more. Yeah. You got even those who watched it afterwards have like, where is Dike? What exactly can we do? Yeah. What can the art do? Now the arts are thriving in Nigeria. Yeah. So what can we do with the art?
I think it is the primary duty of the artist, of the storyteller, to weave that national narrative, to weave that identity. And when you talk about a national identity is a story. It's about how you tell your history. It's about the stories you choose to emphasize and the ones you choose to de-emphasize. So I have no problem with people thinking about flashy cars and gold necklaces or whatever. But we also need a generation of very conscious artists who tackle the problem of the Nigerian identity very intelligently, not based on sentiment, but based on detailed research. Like I said, we have enough material to make a case for integration. It's not a wishy-washy case. Just telling you about my secondary school experience, where my bunkmate is from Kaduna State, the one on this side is from Cross River, the one across is a Muslim, and just how we went through university and we became great friends, is a story that feeds the national identity, that debunks the I don't know what to call it, assumption or whatever, that we are innately incapable of living together simply because of the circumstances of our birth. I always say, how can two people who live in Maraba, two neighbors, one is Igbo, maybe one is Hausa Fulani, then the Igbo person in Maraba with his Hausa Fulani neighbor, same no lights, same bad roads, they get on the bus together, same hold up, but that Igbo person feels he has more in common with another Igbo man that lives in Asokoro in a 6-bedroom mansion, who travels to London every weekend on holiday, whose children go to school in Oxford and Harvard. He feels he has more in common with that person.
Welcome back. We still have the poet Dike Chukwumerije in the house. So as we wind down, let's look at the poem you presented, the end notes, the end of it. Can you take that message and take it out there? What kind of message from there would you give to Nigerians?
If there's one message, I would like to come out of that poem. Two things. One, no culture is older than being human. In the end, we all come from the same womb. Our religious faiths, scientific evidence points to the fact that all men and women come from the same womb. These differences are social. They're all artificial. Every socio-cultural entity is an artificial construct. Igbo somebody started somewhere. Hausa Fulani started somewhere. And before it, there was something else. We have a common humanity. And then secondly, I like to, when I tell people the wall and the bridge, that's the title of the poem, the wall and the bridge are both in the heart. In other words, there is no innate biological, scientific reason why we can't live together. The prejudices are in your heart, it's in your attitude, it's in your mind. If you open your mind towards me, I will be your brother. If you close your mind towards me, I will be your enemy. But the blood is the same. Even if I don't speak your language, if I see tears in your eyes, I understand. If I see a smile on your face, I understand. If I see you hungering for a better life, I understand. This is universal language. So those are the messages I would like Nigerians to take out of that poem, because really it's not about entertainment. It's really about challenging some of these dominant views about identity.
All right. Thank you very much. We've been speaking with Dike Chukwumerije, a poet. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much.
Sunrise, we'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.